Gosei Sentai Dairanger!
Hey guys, and welcome to another one of my Gosei Sentai Dairanger episode commentary and reviews. This time it's episode 34, A Prickly Maiden Hunt. And remember, if you do enjoy what you see, please remember to like and subscribe, and maybe even leave comments down below. It just means a lot on a small channel like this. Now let's get into the episode. The episode opens with a man pulling into a petrol station as the attendant comes out. The man asks for a full tank as he goes to use the toilet, but the attendant is more fixated on the young girl in the car, to the point of pulling her out of the car as she calls for her dad, who quickly returns, freeing his daughter. But he is lifted into the air and thrown aside as the man is revealed to be the Gorma General Cactus, who shoots needles into the dad. Down the road, the Rangers are out for a drive when they see the dad stagger into the road, calling for help. As they stop to check on him, he points to the petrol station saying his daughter, causing Daigo to go and check. But when he goes inside, he's confronted by a dead body covered in needles, before finding his own cactus that had disappeared from his home. One that he'd found on a cold winter's night, and a girl called Michiru told him it would produce a beautiful flower. He looks after the cactus, but it had disappeared in the spring, as he looks out and sees Michiru across the road, and he races out to chase after her, but he constantly only sees her from a distance. Elsewhere at a quarry, Gara appears as a human General Cactus poses multiple young girls that have been dressed and posed like life-size dolls, as Gara tells him to carry out his mission, and he has no time to play, as he acts unbothered, saying he's already made his move, as Daigo has reached the quarry where he finds creepy dolls which attack him, before sending him falling down a scree slope. As he gets up, he spots his cactus on a table, as General Cactus appears on a chair, thanking Daigo for saving the cactus, revealing it to be Michiru. As she asks for Daigo's forgiveness, General Cactus reveals his true form, showing off his medals, and as Daigo leaps into the air, only to be shot with several spines, dropping him to the ground, and as Michiru runs to him, she's shot in the back. As Daigo runs to her, pulling out the spines, Michiru asks for forgiveness, saying she had no choice, before saying the kidnapped girls have been turned to dolls, begging him to save them, as she dies in his arms. As Gara appears, revealing the Gorma plan to destroy all green plants in order to increase pollution, as she stamps on the cactus. A furious Daigo transforms, firing at Gara, but his shots are deflected as she disappears, only to be replaced by red cacti. As General Cactus appears with an army of Copatros who throw exploding umbrellas at him. Daigo calls for help on his Doron Changer and the other Rangers run in. As Daigo fends off the Copatros with his Diamond Rod, the others arrive and transform, taking out the Copatros with their weapons, before General Cactus flips his head to launch a fire attack at them. As Daigo takes on the Gorma, the other Rangers race off to save the children. And as Daigo and the Gorma face each other down before charging in, Daigo is beaten back before he's shot with cactus spines. But using his ki power, he expels the spikes before attacking with his illusion tank attack. As the others rejoin him, they finish General Cactus off with the Super Kiryoku Bazooka. As the Gorma grows giant, Kiba Ranger arrives and the six summon their beasts. And as the Gorma unleashes a fire attack on the two mecha, Ryuseo attacks as one tiger becomes Kiba Dio, and is even able to reflect the cactus bombs back at the Gorma before finishing it off with a Ho-Oh attack. Back in the quarry, Daigo rushes to what remains of his cactus as he sees Michiru riding away on the back of a lorry, as he hears her tell him to defeat the Gorma before she disappears. As the Rangers enjoy some time driving through the puddles in the quarry, Master Kaku watches on as the episode ends. Okay, so I have to say that General Cactus is definitely, hello again, a very disturbing Gorma, with a taste for turning little girls into his dolls that he keeps adjusting the poses of. I don't know, that just seems very weird. I mean, he just turns them into dolls, puts them in these frilly dresses, like, you know, those old style fancy dolls, you usually see the collectors keep them in the boxes. A very Victorian sort of dress style, almost, or older, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it just seems very weird and disturbing that he wants to kidnap little girls to turn them into dolls. On the other hand, he also has a flip head like Chief Tombstone because he has a flamethrower in his head. And I like Chief Tombstone. So I wonder if they're like, well, we like the Gorma gimmicks. We like the Three Stooges gimmicks, but we can't bring Chief Tombstone back for this one. Sorry, we'll just give it to Cactus Head. We like doing that. Maybe. It's kind of weird, however, that Daigo saves a cactus in the snow, which, the girl he sees is like, oh, like, it's not doing it at the moment, but if you look after it, it'll produce some really beautiful flowers. And it turns out to actually be that girl that's the flower of the cactus. That's kind of weird. Also, it's another pollution episode, so this is our pollution episode of the series. Obviously, last season it was The Foolish Boy with Dora Unicorn, where, Dora Unicorn just wants everywhere polluted while he was working with the kid who didn't want pollution. Also, when Daigo calls for help from the Rangers, they're not on their bikes, they're on foot, running. And yet they get to the quarry in seconds. So they must have all just been hanging around outside going, yeah, we've heard nothing. We can wait. Oh, no, he is. Right, let's go around the corner. He's right there. And there's no coup. But Kiba Ranger appears just in time for the giant monster fight. So, 17 episodes to the end. No coup again. But we do get Kiba Ranger. So, I guess he's still around. It's just hard to do stuff that involves the little kid, I guess. But at least he isn't overused like Justin was in Turbo, where they tried to make everything about... I haven't watched it since because I can't bring myself to watch Turbo again. And, I don't know if I mentioned this before. When I was watching my Sentai DVDs that I've got back there, I got to Car Ranger and I was thinking, oh God, no. Turbo was so bad. How am I going to get through Car Ranger? And I was starting to like Sentai less and less just with the thoughts of having to watch a Turbo season. And it was actually brilliant. It brought my love of Sentai right back with Car Ranger. So I'm looking forward to in a few years when I'll get to do those episodes. I mean, Pizza Oven. The fact that in the first episodes, the little alien dude has to tie them up and drag them to the fight. But we're not there. We're not there yet. But yeah, just I mean, I'm sure the guy's great, and you got the part because he's great at martial arts. Just the writers couldn't write for him. And as a kid at the time, I was probably a year or two older than him at that point. Nah, I didn't want to see someone younger than me as a Power Ranger. Put me right off. And it was mostly the Tommy show for years at that point anyway, which was driving me away. But, speaking of Turbo, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers! Footage of General Cactus was used in Season 2, Episodes 50 and 51, Wild West Rangers, Parts 1 and 2, and is renamed Needle Nose. So, Part 1, they actually have original footage in Zed's Castle and outside Angel Grove. There's actually some scenes with the Rangers and Goldar, and there's scenes with Goldar in the past. In Part 2, there is original footage again, this time set in the past. And of course, there's the archive footage from Sentai for the giant fighting. My biggest complaint with this is, despite having the monster costume, the monster never actually fights the Rangers. He's seen in the same shot, I think. I didn't put it in my notes because he's in the same shot, but you know, he just stands with Goldar, which means it has to be new footage, and he's in the Wild West town, so you know it has to be new footage because of that. But he and Goldar just stand there and watch everything. At this point, you know, all the fighting in the Dairanger outfits, or the Wild West Dairanger outfits. Hello again, Cat. Hello. They're all original footage. You know, because they don't have the archive footage to use anymore. So they're filming more and more, but they don't let the Rangers fight the monster, which just blows my mind, because it could have been so good actually having them fight the monster for a change. But instead he just stands off and watches. I don't know if it's because, you know, they don't want it to seem too different from like other episodes where they like just fight the putties because they don't have the monster to fight. Hello. But yeah, it's biggest downside of this, and it's a two-parter as well. So yeah, could have done better. Could have done so much better. And anyway, I think this cat wants some attention. So I will see you guys next time.